dive right in today. Hi, welcome back. I'm Kat, and this is my little corner of the internet, Librophiliac Knits. It's become a little bit of a misnomer because I talk a lot about spinning lately, but I do also knit with the things I spin, so I guess it's still sort of obliquely correct. I'm coming to you from a blustery cold April day in St. Paul, Minnesota. This is Lolita, one of my two cats. Her brother, Vladimir Nabokov, may make an appearance later. Sister. No tails to the face, please. What are we going to do today? What am I here to talk about? Let me inform you. I am here to talk about what I have finished knitting, what I am currently working on, and a couple of books I just finished reading that I thought were relevant to the conversation. A lot of times I try to pick another little topic to chit-chat about because, why not? I don't mind being informative. I'm a talker. What I will probably talk about, because I don't know how to stop myself once I think of something, is self-soothing as an adult. I usually introduce these YouTube videos by saying that I live in St. Paul with my two cats and my two dogs and one of my three children and my partner. But there have been some changes to those numbers last week. Yeah. Last week, Monday, we ended up putting down one of my dogs. So now it's two cats, one dog. One or two of my children, there's the potential that one of them is moving back in, which I'm happy about. And my partner is still here. And so in talking about self-soothing, I was really sort of talking about how I'm handling the loss of my dog, who was my buddy for 12 years. And you may have seen him occasionally on the podcast. He was the little blonde Frenchie. Ziggy Stardust was his name. And he has been been with me since a little after I got divorced in 2010. I might have bought him, the dog, in 2011 or 2012, but it was sort of it felt at the time like the early days of my divorce. And that meant that he was with us through, moving houses and major life changes. He especially has been the constant companion of my youngest child. And, he was 12. It was time. It was past time, but it's always sad to let a pet go. Especially when they've been with you for a long time. I am not trying to have a downer episode today, though, so please don't assume that this will just be like, yes, let us all raise a glass or shed a tear for our old friend Zig. He was a very good boy. And on that note, let me start with what I am currently wearing. I am not going to stand up because I've got the camera at such an angle that it won't actually help you see this better. This is my variation on the classic sweater by Espace Tricot, which is a French Canadian yarn shop in Montreal. They have a lot of free patterns, and I originally just wanted to borrow their yoke shaping, like it's raglan. It's a raglan shaping. I was trying to figure out what the whole deal is, what's so special about compound raglans. But the classic originally I'll put a little picture in, is hi honey, is a turtleneck, and I was not on the turtleneck mission. I actually cast this on just like with no plans in place and went for it. This is my hand spun, and then these other two purples, see my little elbow of violet, and then this lovely deep eggplant are they are some of my very deepest stash from Knit Picks. They're Wool of the Andes sport weight yarn that I have had probably longer than I had the Zig. You know, so 12 or 15 years. And I finally incorporated it into something, which I'm very pleased about. I am drinking some warm tea. It is April in Minnesota, and I said that it's cold today. It has been so warm that I had turned off all the heat in the house, and the weather report got away from me, I guess, because I left the heat off, and when I came in here to get ready to shoot the podcast, I didn't sleep in this room last night, so I did not realize it was 58 degrees in here. Which is very cold. But anyway, I really enjoyed knitting this sweater. I originally was only going to use the classic to get me through this bit, and then I was just kind of figure it out. But the more that I looked at the pattern, the more that I liked it. So I decided to stick with it. I used it for all of the shaping. I decided to do what they had done and leave it kind of a, can you see it in the background? It's like a straight sleeve. I was worried that, I'm not gonna, it'll, fall down over my hands and I'll hate it, whatever. No, I haven't blocked it yet. Blocking for me goes in fits and starts, so I have not blocked it yet. But I have worn it a number of times, and it's super cozy. It's got a split hem that I can't show you right now. Well, there, you can see. Burp. So I tried to make it nice and oversized and super cute so that I would just have a different option in my wardrobe. Something big and cozy. A lot of the sweaters that I make are pretty fitted, and that can affect how long I can wear the sweater. Some of the sweaters that I made that are very fitted no longer fit me because I have changed shape. And so if I make a big, sweater that does not have any negative ease or any like real fitted options, then I'm still gonna definitely block this. But then I can wear it longer no matter what happens. Okay, now I'm gonna sneak this off for a sec. Woo. And you're gonna see my summer top. This is 2 years in the making, designed entirely by me. Tank top. It's just like a narrow back in the back. I named it the cable drape because I started with a cable and then I draped the fabric from there. I like cast on with a little provisional cast on, and I basically made it like a cable belt, just the amount. And look at how it it falls like a necklace, which I love. I need to get closer, but the Lola is on my lap. I'm sorry, Lo. Just a sec. Oh, here, you can see the back. Ooh. I didn't realize exactly how much this was going to be kind of my skin tone. I am a little pink today, so that works out. And look how not opaque. Look at how ridiculous this bra is. And then, can't tell what color the bra is in the middle. But anyway, so I made this fun cable with I-cord to either side, and then because I like to make my life too difficult, I actually then made I-cord armholes and tried to decide how big I wanted that bit, and then I just filled it in with fabric back and forth and back and forth, like with short rows basically, until it seemed like this was starting to pull down too far, which, yeah, apparently I'm gonna show off my bra every time I wear this. C'est la vie. And then I joined and I knit it in the round. It is supposed to be worn with high-waisted pants. These cute jeans that I thrifted are a little bit more mid-rise than I expected them to be, but I got them from a thrift store that does not have a changing room, so I did my best. But like I said, it's a little chilly in here, so that is the last that you'll be seeing of my lovely cable drape, which I invented myself. I don't believe that I will ever write a pattern for this because everyone would hate me. I ripped it out and made it like 2-3 times because things weren't going the way that I wanted to. If I were to do it again, I would just, you know, pick up from here and do going back and forth with an I-cord edging, you know, the slip through with yarn in front and then go back the other way kind of situation. And that would make it a lot easier. A lot. And then I could potentially write a pattern for it, but I would have to figure out, you know, like how many stitches and how wide do you want it, and then how do I make all this attach in a way that makes sense. Actually, I could probably figure it out. My brain is already telling me the answers as I ask these questions. Maybe someday I will release a pattern. Let me know in the comments if that's a thing you're interested in. Hi. There. Okay, back to the cozy warm sweater because it's chillier than I thought it was going to be today. And it's supposed to be like 60 degrees again tomorrow. But if it's going to be that nice out, then I want to film for you guys now so I can be outside tomorrow. Sorry, not sorry. To take advantage while I can. There's just not enough warm weather around here. So, those are the 2 things that I am wearing, but also the 2 items that I have finished on my current mission. And then I, surprise, didn't know that I was going to do this. Have been thinking about it for a long time, but basically in an effort to make myself feel better after the loss of my dear friend and dog, I cast on a sweater the next day, and I had the whole week off because it was my little guy's spring break, so I didn't have anywhere to be, and we were kind of hanging out. You know, we went and visited my parents. We did a little bit of this and that. Nothing much, which he enjoyed. And I have terrible FOMO just in general, which is why I shouldn't even look at the internet like ever, but I do. And Andrea Mowry has 2 different knit-alongs going on right now. One of them is a Spin It to Knit It, which you may remember from last episode. It's going to include making a traveler hoodie out of this gorgeous yarn that I had just finished a sweater quantity of. But I have a whole year to do that. Right now, she has the March to May knit-along going on, and I also got a wild hair that I wanted to participate. And I've had all of this yarn in stash, some of it for years, some of it more than years, just like for so long. And so I cast on a throwback, the throwback cardigan. But this has 3 color. It's a super fun cardigan, and I have wanted one for a very long time, but I kept having trouble picking colors, and what am I trying to say? Oh, I discovered that it's a 3 color work sweater, which I've never done 3 colors of color work at the same time, and you're supposed to knit it back and forth, and that would make it astronomically take longer for me. Not that I'm not great at purling, but just that sometimes I'd rather not. I was just knitting that baby blanket that was flat, and the purl rows were sometimes kind of plodding. Even with using Portuguese purl, which usually solves all of my grumpiness. But I decided to steek it. So do you see my little steek rows right here? I'm doing a 5-row or a 5-stitch steeking section right down the middle. And I made sure, I was very pleased to note that this pattern ends on the uptick on both sides. So that will match. The place it will not match, and no one will notice it but me, is down in the, I'm now down to the ribbing, and it's a 4-stitch repeat ribbing section, and one side is starting with knitting and the other side is ending with purling, which makes sense, but I should have done, it took me a long time to realize that it was going to look maybe funny because there'll be a chunk in the middle, but if the button band goes all the way down, so it's not going to matter. But if I had started with 2 and then gone 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4 all the way around and then ended with 2, then it would still be perfectly matched to either side. But whatever, suck it up, Buttercup. So I cast this on last week Tuesday, and it is Friday. So it has been 10 days, and I have to thank Roller Derby for the amount of knitting I got done because, well, first the fascinating color work got me. I was through all of that by last Thursday, I think, like Thursday evening. And then Friday there was a roller derby tournament that my friends were playing in starting, and I split for sleeves. I made sure to make them a little bit bigger because Andrea Mowry notoriously has cute, adorable, tiny little arms, and so do her patterns, and I do not. I need some more. No, I wish I had like pipes, but it's just, you know, I do not have Michelle Obama arms. I've got the little chicken wing things going on, so I need a little more space, especially because I like to layer. So I added a few extra stitches. I'm kind of playing fast and loose with the patterns. I did not swatch. I just went for it. I haven't told you what yarn I'm using yet. Let me see. But to finish the story I had just started, I split for sleeves just in time for the tournament to get started on Friday, and I knit the entire body of this sweater over the weekend while watching very close games on roller derby. And since it was knit in the round, it was just stuck in it, like knitting forever. And I don't have to look in that context. I just, oh my gosh, I'm yelling at my friends and I'm knitting as fast as I can. Every once in a while I'd put it down because it was like too much, and then I'd pick it up again and like knitting so fast and yelling at the TV. It's having so much fun. So that was great. And then I worked Monday and Tuesday this week. I worked a double on Monday, and a 16-hour work day. Turns out I only had like an inch or 3/4 of an inch left before I was supposed to start with the ribbing, and I didn't pack the ribbing needle. So then what happened was I just was doing, I've switched it now so that I have ribbing needle and I have, you know, body needle over here, but I was using magic loop. Hooray for a DIY situation with, I have like pseudo barber cord, right? Like they call it barber cord, this PVC piping stuff that you can use to hold your knitting. And I initially had this super duper long piece holding both of my sleeves while I was knitting around the body. But since it's so long, what I could do was slide the body onto the barber cord and then take the needle out and use it for the one sleeve. And then I was just using magic loop, which is not usually my favorite, but probably helped me keep it nice and wide. And so I got this far. I had an extra ball of yarn. I packed an extra ball of yarn, but not the other needles. That was silly. But anyway, I got a fair amount done. You know, I had a patient that was still in early enough labor that they did a good chunk of sleeping in the middle of the night, which gave me a little bit more knitting time. And then, yeah, I've been working on it since then. This is Vladimir. Here he is. The other kitty in the house. Hi, baby. They're siblings, but they don't actually get along, which is hilarious and frustrating. So that is the sweater that came out of nowhere in the last week. But it really, having something that I have been thinking about for a long time, but was hesitating because I was having trouble picking colors, and finally taking the time to pick the colors and to do a project that will, you know, potentially win me prizes because it's part of this knit-along. And I am now going to talk to you about the yarn a little bit. So here's the last ball. I bought this yarn at, ironic, look, at Darn Knit Anyway, which is a local yarn store in Stillwater, Minnesota, which is half an hour, 40 minutes from my house. This was in the super sale section. It's Apple Fiber Studio. Apple Fiber's King. I think they called the size. Yeah. This DK weight yarn, 4-ply yarn, which is 100% Peruvian Highland wool, is the colorway Fence Post. And it was super on sale. It was like $10 off per skein. Hard to argue with that. And so I tried to buy a sweater quantity, and I was actually so nervous that I was not going to have enough that it's been like my big hesitation. I'm not going to have enough. I'm going to have like, I don't know, contrast cuffs and contrast collar and, you know, something like that. And so I was like digging around in my stash for other browns. And now I'm realizing, like, I just lost yarn check-in with ball number 2 in terms of finishing the 4 inches of ribbing. I'm probably at 3 or 3.5 inches. But I have almost a full bar of, I'm not taking it up, but almost a full bar of yarn. This was just like from the sleeve. So I've only used this much of this bad boy. And I still have an entire other one for the other sleeve. And then the button band and the collar. And that's it. So I don't think I'm going to need the other brown. Knock wood. And then the other 3 colors that I used. Oh, no, that's not. Hang on, honey. They're right here. They're precious. This has been featured heavily this year in my knitting. It's in that floral sweater I made up, the flowers, where this lovely yarn right here, which is called Darn Good Yarn. The colorway is Smelly Cat, and that was what sold it to me. It's a Friends reference. Phoebe Buffet sings a very silly song. And, you know, there's nothing really that lends itself to this being a Smelly Cat colorway, but it just... that was so silly. I couldn't help myself. This is my only foray thus far into buying spin cycle yarns. And, oops, I'm enjoying it. I think I should have gotten one of the ones that like does more color changey stuff, but I just love this color. The cat is walking on the table. And that's where I put the tripod today. And then this is the other one that I was saying is like really old stash. This is some Madeline Tosh vintage from a million years ago, and this color, this is like the most precious. It was so, like, I have been thinking about what to make with this ball of yarn for probably at least 10 years because it's so beautiful. It's called Button Jar Blue, and it didn't end up going into the mittens that I was thinking about using it for. It didn't end up going into the hat I thought I would make myself. It just keeps sitting in my stash being too precious, and I am so happy to have finally used it. And look at how good this looks. Look at how good this looks. Oh my gosh. And the funniest part, and I forgot to bring it in here because it was outside by the grill randomly. When it was nice out, I was sitting in the sun knitting, or, well, no, not knitting yet, wanting to knit, but not being ready because I couldn't figure out. I had these two, and I didn't know how to round out the 3-color situation. And so I was like, do I do like a really pale, like sea glass aqua on this end? Do I do like a really dark, almost black teal on this end? Do I pick some totally other color? And then what happened was I was sitting out by the grill, and there's an oven mitt out there that has brown and these 2 colors and a cream. And I was like, light bulb, I have this and it would look so good. And it does, it looks fantastic. And it's, you know, there's a little bit of brown in here, so that's kind of fun. So that was how I ended up picking colors, was something just struck my fancy out, well, you know, like laying around in my house. That was how I had been bugging people and talking about it and thinking about it and just not getting where I wanted to be with my decision-making process. Yeah, I'm really excited to finish that sweater. I am looking at it right now. I really have to figure out how to stop looking off screen when I'm thinking, because I start to look at the thing that I'm thinking about, and then you can't see it, so you don't. What if I just snuggle it while we talk about it? It's so pretty and so precious, and it'll be my second foray into steeking. And I was thinking about, I think I heard a rumor that Joann Fabrics is shutting down, and I was thinking about making a little road trip. No. Just running an errand is really what it is, over to Joann Fabrics to see if they have now I'm going to mess this up. Grosgrain, I think it's grosgrain ribbon for the inside of where I steek. Like, if I just got a big, like, one, you know, bobbin of ribbon that I could use for any number of projects. If it's super on sale, now would be the time. But, you know, it's very dangerous to step into one of those stores, because I will end up in the yarn section, and then I will end up bringing home a bunch of stuff that probably is all acrylic. I don't need it. The only other thing that I've been working on, and I actually have failed at this for at least 3 days now, probably since the double. I think I did it before I went to work, and maybe never since. But I've been trying to play along with the 100 days of longdraw, and because I missed the 100 days of support spindling, I've been doing it on my support spindles, but I have been spinning this BFL fleece of mine on my 2 little support spindles. Where'd the other one go? It's in the bucket. There. Okay. Here it is. These are my... See, I just got... So what I do when I only have 2 support spindles. I mean, I showed you I made one, but that's got other stuff on it, and it doesn't spin that efficiently. So I've just been going back and forth with the 2 because I am 2-plying it. I've been using my e-spinner to ply it. This is still attached because there's plenty of this left. So now, what I've been doing is hang on, let me show you. My setup is so high tech. I have this beautiful yarn bowl. It's one of these guys, knitting bowl, and I have this unbeautiful but appropriately sized Amazon box, and I just plop the 2 of them, one into the bowl and one next to it in the box, and I ply from there, and they can spin freely. They don't really get caught on things. Oh, I broke it. Oh, well, there you go. Now I can just spin on this some more if I want to. Whoops. Anyway, I have been working on that. I am pleased with how it's going. Excuse me. I need to prep some more fiber. I'm running out. I'm running a little low on the BFL Rolegs that I made. Oh, sorry, I dropped something. I need a drink. I think maybe I inhaled a fluff. Yeah. So those are the two things that I have been working on. And I have been enjoying them. The sweater came out of nowhere. My original April goal setting was to finish the cable drape. Well, it was to finish a summer knit. Check. I have the yarn and the plans to make a mini mock neck and a moonset tee. Those are both summer knits. And then the second knitting goal that I set myself was actually to work on the sock that I am stymied on, because I'm not enjoying the heel turn. I've never done a Flegel heel before, and I'm not sure that it's working for me, but I keep putting it down, and then when I pick it up again and look at it, I just go, oh no, I don't want to do this, and I put it away again. And so my goal for this month was to finally just finish the stupid heel, and then I can finish the sock. Like, the rest of it will take 2 seconds. It's just, I'm stuck on this heel. And then the stretch goal was supposed to be to finish the other sock, get it over with. You don't ever have to do these heels ever again. In fact, I don't even have to do it for the second sock if I don't want to. I think it's actually supposed to be pretty easy, but I think I tried to do it at work, and it just it wasn't the right kind of mindless for work. I did not appreciate it. And then participating in the spinning. Those are my making goals for the month. So, and wow, I keep doing that. That was like a pretty long list. I should have brought it in here so that I could just read it to you. The other thing was to go ahead and give in to the cast-on-itis, and this counts for that for sure. But then while I was also doing those things and it made me feel good to finish the cable drape. So I wanted to finish other things. It's got me thinking again about the little list of whips I still have. And doing this color work has got me thinking that I'm probably going to have to get back to my ghost horses once and for all. Because speaking of fitted sweaters, I think now I'm nervous it'll be the wrong size for me, but it's so pretty. And I can't wait to wear it. So I don't know what's taking me so long. But I just finished reading this book. And another similar book. They both ended up having like a whole chapter about the Vikings and Viking sail making and sheep rearing that centered around the Vikings because Viking ships had wool sails. If you didn't know that, this book will tell you about it, as will the other book I was reading, which was called The History of Fabric by Kassia St. Clair. I think. I don't have it with me, and I can't show you the screenshot on my phone because I'm recording with my phone. But this is The Lost Flock by Jane Cooper, and she is talking about a breed of sheep that exists on the islands around Scotland. The Borere is the name of the sheep, and she is now raising them on the Isle of Orkney. And here is a picture of some of them. And they're related to or slightly descended from a now extinct breed of sheep called the Scottish Dunface. And I don't know, it was like a little bit more technical in parts of it than I was ready for. Oh my gosh, look at this one. Look at the ridiculous horns. I can't even. This is like the first time that it really occurred to me that the mountain goat looking sheep, wild sheep, are in fact pretty closely related to domesticated sheep, even though they look so different. Because how could these guys not be headbutting each other like with horns like that? It's just amazing. Oh, here, this is what I wanted to show you. Look at all the different fun faces they have. And just like with the Shetlands, all of those different things have names. You know, they have like, nope, I'm not going to try and read it to you, but the I was really enjoying reading about it because, you know, in my secret heart of hearts, eventually I would like to be a shepherdess. But it's not time. I don't have the time or the bandwidth or the spoons or whatever you want to call it for trying to be an urban shepherdess right now. Yeah. So I read that, and that got into Viking sail making, and then also the history of fabric, which was comprehensive and fascinating. I listened to it as an audiobook. And that also, they like kind of touched on some similar things and then, you know, went off in totally different directions, because this is really more about this woman's experience. She had not been a farmer previous to deciding to move to Orkney and start raising these sheep. And then the other one, you know, got into every different kind of like fabric making, from the linen made in ancient Egypt to the the race amongst companies to make the spacesuits for NASA. I mean, things like that. It just, and everything in between. It was pretty fascinating. If you're into nerdy nonfiction like I am, highly recommend. So the last little bit I wanted to chat about was just what do you do to self-soothe? Personally, it is not guilt-tripping myself if I don't want to do things I don't want to do. That's a big one. Hot baths, a decent glass of red wine, chocolate. These are my self-love languages. Doing things with my friends, like not only with the tournament watching this weekend, I get to watch my friends and chat with them, because we always had like a live chat feed going. Like there was one on the YouTube, but then also like amongst our friend group or within our derby team on our derby chat, we were keeping track of what was going on in the games, which was really fun. And then for the final game that our team was playing in for the tournament, we had a gathering, so I got to hang out with my friends and cheer for my other friends, and it was really great. That really filled my cup. That was sort of a pun, I guess, because I was just filling my cup also. But I also reread 3 of my old favorite romance novels. Just cozy, make me feel good. And that was what I wanted to do. I got some sense of satisfaction from finishing a couple of things. And, well, with just the amount of knitting that I got done on this, I'm really feeling very pleased with myself. And if I would shut up and work on this, I could probably get through even more. I'm debating the merits of finishing the ribbing before I worry about the other sleeve with that last ball of yarn. But I haven't decided. It doesn't really matter. You know, it's all going to happen eventually. Yeah, what do you do to make yourself feel better? Lots of hugs. I spent a lovely day yesterday just hanging out with my daughter, talking and eating good food and just enjoying ourselves. And I hope that you are finding ways to really enjoy yourself also. And that's really about all I have to say this week, friends. It's been a much shorter period of time since I like normally only post once a month or every other month, or I had like a 6-month hiatus. I did not mean to do that, and I do not plan to do it again. And now that the weather is getting nicer, I'm starting to plot and plan more fleece cleaning. Trying to maybe reorganize my garage so that I also can go through all of my fleeces and figure out what I have, and maybe reach out to Ouija and get the next fleece from one of her sheep because I loved the last one so much. Her beautiful little Shetlands. It's like Tink and Sprinkle, who are a mom and daughter, if I remember correctly. They both have these gorgeous light gray fleeces, and I'm like, can I have the rest of them? Are there more? Can I have them? I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do that, but I probably at some point will be going up to visit her sheepies because they're so cute. And I cannot help myself. And she has lambs. She's been putting them on the internet. I love them so much. If you want to follow her farm, I highly recommend. She posts cute lamb pictures. I think that's it. So let me know what you think about this weird new angle of camera. And anything else you want to share, I'm here for it. Thanks for joining me on my adventures, and I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.